Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the Footy Show daily. Bit of a change of tone today. We're basically sick of talking about when football is coming back. So we're going to have a talk about VAR. Something that a couple of our recent guests spoke about.
Yeah, spoke to Andy Gray and Richard Keys about their thoughts on VAR. So we'll put them clips up for you to see what they think about it. But for us, I mean, do you think we're trying to move away from talking about when football returns, but when football does return,
Yeah.
and it looks like it might be June the 12th, do you think the VAR changes will be implemented then, or do you think they'll wait for next season? Because what they've said is obviously referees going to the screen and using that a bit more. So do you think it'll be when we come back, or if it's a new season?
I think it'll be a new season.
Do you?
I mean, they've already changing certain things. This, grounds and all the rest of it. I think doing that would be going one too far. I also think that the extra stuff that will mean.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's going to be all the same, but in terms of like going to the screen and things like that, they're going to do that straight away, I think. And I think that'll be easier because you won't have the pressure of the fans there. So I think going to a screen and taking that little bit extra time will be a lot easier. And actually, that'll get them into some good working practices.
Yeah.
But in terms of like, obviously, things like the offside trap and things like that, I don't think that's their rules, aren't they? Big rules. So I can't really see that happening yet.
Well, they were the big things, weren't they? There was we'll go back to the screen in a minute, but the rule changes where obviously the offside they're going to look at, and there's talk about the Wenger rule coming in, and there's also the penalty rule and the handball rule, which are a bit mad, aren't they? The penalty one is a bit mad, isn't it? That if the goalie saves it but he's off his line, you retake it. But if he's off his line, you put it wide, you don't retake it, which is mad. And then obviously the handball is it's here down, isn't it, or something like that? Shirt sleeve down, but then if you wear Under Armour, So they're obviously things to tinker with. But just go on to the VAR stuff, because that's the thing really that I wanted to talk about. The thing what I think they've done wrong is not using that screen enough. And because we said it before, putting the responsibility on the fella who's in Stockley Park, miles away. Whereas if you're the referee, and give yourself that time to go and look at the decision, and then maybe have a conversation with that person if you want, because ultimately you're on the pitch, you're there to referee the game. He's there supposedly to give you another pair of eyes. So if there's an elbow in someone's face off the ball or something like that, or you mightn't have seen a trip on someone, go and have a look at this. It looks like it's trip. Wait till you see it. It gives you clarification. So I think you're right. It could get them into good practices ahead of when fans are back in the stadium, because at times it become a bit tiresome, didn't it, not knowing what was going on?
Yeah, we've obviously spoke about this a lot. We spoke about this a lot last season and what we thought was going to happen. And we were hoping that they didn't use the screen a lot, and we hoped that would allow the game to flow. I just don't think they've got that happy medium. I think it's funny you've just said that then, like, someone elbowing them in the face. I think if they go upstairs, see someone throw an elbow or a punch and says he's just throwing a punch, then you can go, red card, mate. He's just seen you throw a punch. I don't think you have to review that.
Right.
I think if some of the more petty things, or we would think as petty things, don't need to be reviewed. But then again, we had the one at Brighton where maybe if you'd asked me last season, because I remember the one we got, not for VAR, we got a penalty against Fulham, I want to say, last season. Dominic Calvert-Lewin was barged over, and I think Sigurdsson missed it, didn't he?
Yeah.
But the linesman give it. And the referee had seen it, but the linesman give it. So, to me, that's the way I was picturing that. That's how it would work.
Yeah.
But then you go to the Brighton one, where the referee sees it. And even after the game, he said, I don't know if I would have give that. I think that one is where if he's so adamant, like if he's so adamant and thinks, well, I saw it, but I'll go and double check it, then I think that's when you use the screen. The one we had Yerry Mina when he had the one disallowed. West Ham. The handball against Tottenham. I think that needs to be checked.
There's things like the Chelsea and Tottenham, you know, the stamp by Lo Celso and things like that, you know, big decisions that referees, I've said this before, you know, when games I've seen referees, one of the last games, I think it might have Southampton, Newcastle, it might have been, I think, the referee's gone and used the screen and used it brilliantly, but then later on in the game, there was an opportunity for him to go and use the screen, he didn't, and even though I think the decision might have still been the same, he brought criticism on himself because he was using it at times and then at other times not. And I think I think if I was a referee, I'd want to make sure that I was consistent in using it. So if you're up in the box and you say to me, that's a penalty, I'd say, right, I'm going to have a look. And I'd run over, look at it, bang, bang, go, Ped, you're right, it's a penalty. Or, nah, because again, I'll bring it back to an Everton perspective. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's winner against Manchester United. You know, he goes and looks at that, the referee, and looks at it properly. I think we get the win.
So do you think that, in terms of that then, that maybe the Premier League bring in a rule, I say rule, or a recommendation that next season, any major decisions, the referee must consult the screen?
Yeah.
And then we start with the high bar, and then we start, as we get the confidence of the, it sounds like the lockdown list, doesn't it? As we get the confidence of the fans back, that and the trust amongst the working practices of how we do things, that we start less using it? Or do you think we keep that up all the time and just have that as we use it? Because, you know, you look at somewhere like Germany, and you'll see this soon because they're back a week Saturday, is that when there's a major decision, the guy just trots over, and you think about it, it only takes a minute. It only takes a minute to just have a look at something again.
Yeah.
They trot over to the screen, look at it, and then everyone goes, well, he looked at it. And then it doesn't even matter whether you think the decision is right or wrong. They've made the decision because they've seen it twice. One in split second, gut instinct, and then they get to see it again in slow motion and go, yeah, that was right.
Well, think about, as a member of the crowd, as a fan, you see the referee doing that. Like take that United goal, for instance, right? Take that United goal, for instance. Calvert-Lewin scores. We're all celebrating. You're celebrating half because you're seeing the line and he's kind of talking and you're a bit like, I don't know. But if he runs to the screen and looks at it like that, and looks at it and then goes, no goal, then you kind of go, he's seen something then. The ref's seen something then. Fair enough. You feel a little bit more confidence in the referee, just a little bit. We can argue whether he was right or wrong afterwards, but you feel a little bit more like he's the referee on the pitch, he's made the decision, not someone else is saying to him. If he goes to the screen, looks and goes, yeah, it was John Moss, I think, wasn't it? And goes, yeah, you know what, you're right. Yeah, I agree. He was offside. You're right. That's not a goal. You'd have to go, all right, well, the referee's seen it. He hasn't just gone, oh, I'll guess it. Or he hasn't just allowed someone to tell him. Because the conflict comes when you've got someone in Stockley Park looking at it and someone refereeing at Goodison, Anfield, Old Trafford, wherever. And he mightn't have the same opinion as him. And that's where the problem is. He's on the pitch and can make that decision. John Moss or Martin Atkinson or whoever it is sat in Stockley Park doesn't blow the whistle and go, that's a goal, that isn't a goal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So therefore, the referee looks at it and goes, I agree with you, that's offside, or that's foul, or that's a red card. Then we have to take that as fans, because we have to take that anyway.
What you're essentially doing is you're splitting, what they have been doing is splitting the referee responsibilities, and basically saying the guy in Stockley Park has got exactly the same amount of responsibility as the guy. Well, he has, because he has got more, because he overrules him. Penalty for us at Brighton, he overruled him.
He overruled it, yeah.
Whereas what he should have done is, and I really like the way they do it in rugby union in the Six Nations. Shut me eight there. The Six Nations is The guy calls him, says, you want to have a look at this. They look at him in real time while it's on the screen. They talk you through it. If you're watching it, I don't know what the in-stadium experience is like, but when you watch it on TV, he's talking to him. He's using very precise language as well. I think that's the most interesting thing is they use language that doesn't confuse anybody. They stick to certain ways of saying, and it's just like, is that a try in your opinion? Like, look, I agree, or I don't agree. I think they've both got to agree, because he's the ref, he's the video ref, and it's so easy. I know it does take a little bit more time, but I remember watching it. I think it was 2 years ago, and I think England scored a try in the last minute of a game or something like that. And if it was given, they would win the whole shebang.
That's right, yeah.
And
Six Nations.
they could not agree whether the ball had been touched down or whether it touched someone's leg.
Right.
And they could not agree. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
They could not agree whether the ball had been put down.
Yeah.
So therefore, it could not be given.
Okay.
Because no angle showed,
Made it
and in
clear.
real time you couldn't see. So they just said it's not a try.
Okay. Well,
And the opposition team ended up winning the whole
Well,
thing.
that's what might have happened with Calvert-Lewin. They should have been able to have that discussion, and if they can't agree, if the referee's going, no, I don't agree, and he's going, well, you just go, well, it's a goal, because I can only rule it out if it proves
I
something.
found the reason.
The same with a penalty.
Yeah.
The penalty, you have to be 100%. The problem is, the two things are, one, I think the thing that didn't do anyone any favours was Liverpool 2, West Brom 3 at Anfield in the FA Cup a few years ago, when he kept going to the screen and it was taking ages. I think it was 7 minutes between two goals by looking at stuff. That didn't help anyone, so people cast doubt on it then. And I think from that, everything's, unravelled, so people don't want to. The other thing is, you don't need to go to the screen for every single decision. It'll only be big decisions. And but game-changing decisions, which allegedly is supposed to be what it is. But they've got quicker at doing it. So you might get 3 decisions in a game, where if you score a goal and he goes to the fourth of the fella in the thing while you're all celebrating, any problems? And he goes, no problems, it's a goal, you only have to go and look. But if he goes, you might want to look at that, you go and look at it, end of story. I think it'll quicken it up. I personally think that, and I think VAR has come in, whether we like it or not. We want it to influence things. We've said before, goal line technology is infinite. It gives you that decision. It's finite. It gives you it. Did it cross the line? Yes or no? Great. Took away that argument. I think VAR has been brought in to help the game. This is what the guest thought.
Look, it's not going away.
No.
In my view, it should never ever have been introduced.
Okay.
It has added nothing. It's the same with a piece of equipment when you're analysing football. Andy would always say, "There's no point giving me that, because what does it add? Nothing. Nothing. If it adds something, fine. VAR has added nothing. It's destroyed and is destructive, and it is there largely for that purpose. It is not there. Maybe one. Arsenal got one at Manchester United. I can't think of too many occasions when we've said, "Cool, good job we had VAR today," because that might not have been allowed. But I think the price we've paid for it has been too great. And I always said this. My view on goal line technology was consistent. I didn't want it, not because I didn't think it might occasionally help. I didn't want it because I knew it was the thin end of the wedge. That the minute we got it, people would start saying, let's have cameras now for offside and free kicks. We've only just started with VAR. Which phase are we going to be arguing about soon? How far back do we take it? Are we going to be arguing about soon? And I don't think the game. I don't think that's not the game I watch. I love watching Championship football because it's pure, it's clean.
Yeah.
And a goal scored, and people celebrate, and crowds are enjoying it immediately, not waiting. What's happened there? If you're in a stadium, it's hopeless. You've no idea.
I mean, Everton. So the last game I was at Goodison was the Man United game. Dominic Calvert-Lewin scores in the 93rd minute. It's essentially the winner.
By the way, it is.
Exactly. So we're celebrating, and you're looking and going, well, we can't really celebrate because the referee's having a chat here. And you know what, Richard? If you'd have gone to the screen and looked at it and gone, okay, fair. For me, it's I thought it was a goal because De Gea didn't you know, he could see the ball. His body showed that he could see the ball because he moved.
He's not getting it.
No,
it's
exactly
a goal.
so. But if the referee would have looked at it and then made his decision himself, I'd have gone, okay. Wouldn't I have liked it?
Yeah.
No. But at what stage, how is someone telling him and he's not got any influence on that decision? It's bizarre.
No,
is that just them giving?
Nonsense.
Is that just them giving responsibility away? Do you think?
Totally. And listen, whether they will never admit it, but if I'm Martin Atkinson, and the lad's name from Australia escapes me at the minute, but the boy they brought from Australia, and he's only done VAR at the minute. You know, you're not overturning decisions I've made. You're not making me look a mug. And so it depends who's on the pitch, and it depends who's in that bunker. And look, it's not going away.
No.
But I wish we'd never started with it. We didn't need it. It's added nothing. It's for me. It's all negative, and that's not why I watch football matches. I want to be entertained and enjoy it. If somebody scores a goal, great. Yeah. All right, onside, yeah, fine. No reason to disallow that. Get on with it. But you lads there on where were you? Gladys Street? I don't know.
The Bullens, upper Bullens.
You in the posh seats now?
No, they're still wooden.
So, but you said that's it. We've beaten Manchester United. No, we haven't. Are you sure? No. Well, maybe. Oh.
Yeah. That's exactly it. I mean, that's exactly it. Just finally on that. Do you think it would help if the VAR people weren't referees who were still refereeing in the Premier League, were almost independent? Or do you think it doesn't make any decision?
Yeah, I would prefer to see. Yeah, I would prefer to see people have done the game. You don't need to be a referee to be sitting in there. Yeah, I would prefer to see people that have retired, that have recently left the game. There are good examples of people sitting on their backside. Dean, according to Mike Riley, quotes, to be not good enough to work in VAR. Well, how good do you need to be to sit and watch a monitor?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's jobs for the boys by and large. But we have to accept it's here, and sadly, I think Sepp Blatter was right. I would rather have people behind the goal and keep it a game that's occasionally going to let you down, but give you something to talk about and reward you for the money you've spent. You're going to see goals today, not see technology disallow goals.
Fair enough. How do you think VAR's gone in this season in terms of certainly from the Premier League, because obviously that's what you cover? And do you think we've used it correctly? And do you think a lot of the criticism would have been alleviated had referees just used the monitor at the side of the pitch more?
Right. First and foremost, I don't think we needed it.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I think it's changed the game fundamentally from the game we all fell in love with. And I'm not sure we'll ever get it back to what it was in its true sense. We're now going to be punctuated with loads of stoppages in a football match where we wait in a game that should flow and used to flow continuously. It's never been used properly. No. We've battered that here. Richard and Keys and I have talked about that continuously. The only country in the world that doesn't allow their officials to go to a monitor and make their own decision is the English Premier League. How can that be right? How can that possibly be right that a referee sitting in Stockley Park in London watching Everton v Liverpool at Anfield or Goodison makes a decision on a matter of fact, or an opinion, on a matter of opinion as to whether it's a penalty or not? That can't be right. The only man who should have an opinion is the referee and his linesman.
Yeah.
You know, if it's a penalty, was it inside or out the penalty area? Fine. That's a matter of fact. Was it inside? Was it out? Is he offside? That's a matter of fact. But that's another one. It's an absolute shambles. To be disallowing goals for 2 millimetres, 3 millimetres, 4 millimetres offside, I'm sorry, that's destroying the game in my opinion. And I don't care what the do say about, well, it's a fact. If he's offside, he's offside. No, offside, although it is black and white, was never black and white.
No.
You always got some and didn't get some. Now they're saying, well, you always get... No, you don't. We're seeing unbelievable goals disallowed for a toenail. for an armpit. I've seen more goals disallowed because somebody's armpit was offside this season than any other part of his body. It's a shambles. So I know it's here to stay, so we have to accept that we've got it. So if we've got it, then we have to use it properly. Yeah. I don't think Mike Riley has come out of this smelling of roses at all.
No.
I think he's made a complete mess of it so far. And if we're going to use it, which we are, and if we're stuck with it, which we are, then at least let's use it properly. Let's use it the same way that every other country in the world uses it. Why be a lone voice? You know, we can't have referees not going to monitors in the Premier League, and then when they go and referee in Europe, going to monitors.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
No.
It doesn't make sense. So, listen, it's the first season. I've never been a fan. I don't think I ever will be. You know, the handball thing is just a joke. Absolute joke. What's handball? What's not? No one knows. No one has a clue anymore. There's a different law for handball for a forward than there is for a defender. Yeah. How can that be the fact? How can that be the case? So there are many things wrong with it. But as I've said, we're stuck with it, so I'm going to have to accept that it's here, and we're going to have to then use it properly.
Andy, thank you so much.
Okay, well, we know what Keys' opinion's been from he's called it the VR, hasn't he? He does call it the VR, so...
but it's here to stay, isn't
it?
Like you said.
There's people of a certain age who obviously have no interest in this kind of thing, don't want to see. And I'm not saying that's the wrong way of looking at things, but I think what maybe... No, I'm not going to say the older generation. I think what some football fans feel is, if something isn't perfect, then why change the game for it? Why not wait? Why? It's like the offside rule. Why not wait till and go, well, if this thing's going to be so precise, then let's change the offside rule then. If we're going to get it so right, then let's make the offside rule so it's the other way around, this Wenger rule, which I really like, which means that any part of you is online, is onside, you're onside. And I like that. It gives the advantage back to the striker.
Goals.
Exactly. About goals. Gives the advantage back. I think at the moment, it's not here or there. Because half the time, you're getting given offside. And it's not anything that the defender's done brilliantly.
No, but you're also taking away clever runs.
I know. But what I'm saying is that good defenders make step up and stuff.
Yeah.
But at the moment, all these like armpits, it's just fluke. Yeah. Just a fluke.
I look more.
Just a fluke. Whereas that other way takes it out. And I know people will go, well, what happens if it happens the other way? Yeah, but if it happens the other way, it'd be a lot more clean cut. You know, you won't mind it the other way as much because of the advantage. So, and there's things like they've said, like the why is a striker handballing the ball a free kick and yet a defender does and it's an accident? Why?
Yeah,
you've got to get that.
Yeah, that
you've got to get that balance. You've got to balance it so it's the same on both. So,
I think the fear for people is that it becomes it's being done for TV rather than for us as fans. But
for me, I think that what they should have done is should have set the bar really high and then got people used to it. And actually, if people wanted to moan how much time was added on, you'd go, it doesn't matter. And this is what happened in the World Cup. People going, oh, it's making the... And people, have they made any wrong decisions? And people will go, no, but... it doesn't matter. And what will happen by that is, if you're making all the right decisions, then, like anything in life, once you get good at something, you take less time to do it. Yeah. What they've done is they've gone in half-arsed, half-cocked, and they're still making bad decisions, and the process to make the bad decisions are bad as well. And people have lost trust in the system. And I think we've got to press the reset, come back next season. Obviously you can do it this season with the screens, but next season come back and go, this is the new offside rule, and it'll work with the goal line technology, and do it that way.
This is how we're implementing VAR. Well, let's hope it improves, because it ain't going anywhere, is it?
No, of course.
So we need to get better
Invested
at it.
far too much money in it.
So we need to get better at it.
So let us know your thoughts anyway on VAR. Would you like to see the screens getting used more for the remainder of this season when it comes back? And also, when you're watching, because you will watch a bit of German footy, have a little look about how they use it as well and see if you prefer that system as well. And maybe in a couple of weeks when we've got German footy, and we'll have a little come back to this and see what people think, how they're using it. And it might be a little bit more clear cut how they use it, because we won't have all the theatrics of the fans in the ground and stuff. So Let us know whether you still back VAR, how you'd like to see it changed. Yeah, and don't forget, if you want to see more of Andy Gray, the interviews out there. The Richard Keys interview will be out soon as well. Cracking interview with Baz as well. So make sure you check them out. Give the video a like. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you want more great videos, join us over on Patreon. The link is in the description. See you later.